Have you ever wanted to double your MMR, but you're kind of lazy and you're not really good at video games, so you just kind of want all the benefits without actually having to be good at the game? Then this video is for you guys. Hi, my name's PatchyToes, and I play Predecessor. Very badly. How badly, you might ask? Let's look at the stats. So, I'm a Gold 3 player, which is roughly around 1250 MMR. A Bronze player is around 650 MMR. And the differences on average between a gold and a bronze player come down from kills and damage per minute, their average player score, CS per minute, and overall gold per minute. These are what differentiates a player who typically is gold and typically is bronze. And then there's Patchy. Which one of these do I look mostly like? Is it the gold? Nope. Is it the silver? Nuh-uh. Or is it the bronze? Yeah, I'm a little higher in CS, but man, I don't really do a lot of damage. My player score sucks. I don't get as many kills. This is right on the money. So we now have established that I, PatchyToes, am a bad player by the numbers. My average player score over 500 games is 87.8. I dare you to find somebody who's gold 3 or even around gold 3 that has a lower player score than me. You won't find many of them. You might find one or two, but there's not a lot. I average 50% of games. And before you say it, the first thing that's on your mind right now is, yeah, he's really bad. He's 1250. That must mean he's carried. Well, my friends, and I do mean that, my friends, let's look at the numbers. I play with a lot of people. Yeah, there's some big carries in there as well, too. But you know what? If I'm so bad, I would make them lose the games, wouldn't I? But look, I play with lots of people and I play with all kinds of bronzes and silvers. I don't even look at, I just jump into a random, I look at the first person that or team that has 4 people or 3 people and I just say, hey guys, let's play. So before you guys all call, and I'm not one of these people that has like 3 or 4 people that I play consistently with and I'm protecting my, I play with anyone and I have just the one account. Thank you very much. So if it's not being carried, and it's not the fact that I'm some unbelievably great player, what's allowing me to get from a gold, or from a bronze, sorry, to gold? Well, before we do that, there's an important stat I need to share with you guys. Because I've been looking at my YouTube statistics, and it seems to me that 98% of you guys have not called your mother recently. She misses you. She hasn't heard from you in a bit. She's been baking you bread. It's getting moldy. Please call her right now. You need more bread in your life. You need more moldy bread in your life. Get the moldy bread. This is a sad statistic, guys. Let's make this happen. We're going to go back to the tape and see this horrible game in play. We're 3 and 17. Oh, look, we did just get, yes, we are a bit ahead on the Fang Tooth. But it's 3 and 17, guys. We are getting spanked. And worse of all, we have this really terrible player called PatchyToes who's feeding the team like a fiend, like it's his job. Whoa, we're 3 and 19. It just got worse. Oh gosh. This game's so bad, by the way, guys, right now, that one of the players in this game actually rage quit out of the chat. He didn't want to play with us. He couldn't stand it anymore. So he literally just left the chat and started randoming. Got a heart of gold, that guy does. But anyway, so things aren't going well. Oh, it's 4 and 20. Big improvement. So there's 6 things though that I do in games like this that I wanted to share with you guys that allows me, a mere bronze pleb, to be able to hang with the big boys, to be able to get my MMR up. And one of those things that I do in almost all the games that I play is that I never press F1. I'm an F2 player. And what that means is when your team is rage quitting the game and they want to start FFing and quit, don't do it. Just press F2. There was at least last week 4 or 5 games where most of the team was ready to quit and threw up the FF, and I just pressed F2 that we ended up winning. That was 5 games that would have brought my MMR down. That's 5 games that were a write-off that I ended up winning. Pressing the F2 button wins you MMR. It's free money. It's literally like someone said, hey, here's some money. Just press the F2 button, and every once in a while, maybe 1 in 3 times, you press that button, I'm gonna give you some money. You press that button every time. So just do it. Second thing I do that brings my MMR from 650 to 1250 is that I shut down negative and toxic conversations. Now, when I say I shut down negative conversations, we got this thing too loud here. I don't just mean I don't participate in negative, I don't say negative things. I trash talk a little bit. But what I'm saying is I shut down toxic conversations that are not productive, that are starting to drag the team down. I actively silence negative conversations. Now, it's not about policing the speech. It's that tactically, strategically, our purpose is to win the game. And while everyone's talking and insulting people's playing ability and ragging on people, what are they not doing? They're not giving conversations that help us move forward and win the games. So when negativity happens, one thing you can do that will boost your MMR is to stop those. Because when people start shitting on people, by the way, that was a sick play. When people are shitting on people, people aren't going to play better. Like the whole adage, if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all, applies here. So I will go as far as just talking over everybody who's being negative until it stops, because eventually people get bored. I mean, we're going to lose the game anyway. If people are arguing and chirping each other, then we're not winning, right? The thing is, you have to keep some balance. It's not just about throwing your weight around and shutting up all negativity. People need to vent. People need to be able to say, damn, this damn Grux is ganking me again. Said none of the enemy team ever, more my team. But yeah, if you could shut down negative conversations and at least learn to kind of manage them better, your players will play better, your team will play better, and you will win more games because you won't start snowballing. And conversely, a third thing that I do in every single one of my games is if I see someone doing poorly, I'm going to actively try and encourage them. And I'm going to give them direction when they're frustrated and doing poorly. Because if they're focused on what they just did and how badly they just screwed up because there's 0 in 10, then they're not focused on what they're going to do next. So what I'll do is I'll say, hey man, don't worry about it. No, it sucks. Just make sure you keep that farm up. Don't push out. Keep your wards dropping, right? That's not going to change the game completely, but it's at least going to give them something to focus, something positive to focus on instead of just tunnel visioning on and feeding the team again. See, the snowballing in games, a lot of people think it's because the damage output is too high and that's how the team snowballs. We were 5-20 a bit ago, right? 722, right? Well, it has nothing to do with the damage that's why we're snowballing. The snowballing was due because our team was being super toxic and because we're all being negative and filling the chat up with useless conversation. When the guy who was whining the whole game left the chat, all of a sudden there's now space for us to focus on what we can do about the situation. And you can see us here. Look, we're organizing up, we're communicating. You can even see in the group here, we're playing a little more together. We're preparing to make something happen. This is actually a perfect segue in. I think this is when we make a play. Might be in a little minute. But you guys get the point, right? By encouraging people, giving directions, something for people to do, they now have something to actually contribute to the game instead of just feeding more and snowballing. Number 4 is communicate clearly, concisely, and consistently. When you're trying to tell people about what you're seeing in the game and what you're trying to do, you need to clearly communicate it. Don't be vague. Don't expect people to just read your mind. Tell them exactly what you're planning on doing and do it clearly. Because when you do that, you guys can coordinate better and steal Fangtooth from that team that is slapping you around and somehow get a 5-person wipe. Guys, that wipe that you guys just saw, let's just stop for a second. That thing that you just saw happen on the screen didn't happen because we suddenly got good. It didn't happen because our players suddenly had money that we didn't have before. That happened because we started focusing on what we could do. Maybe it was a long shot. Maybe we had a 5% chance of that working out, but we had a 0% chance if we didn't focus and didn't work together on that moment. We continue. And consistently communicating, by the way, if you're a bad player like me, when you say what you're going to do and it's a bad call, your team can give you feedback. Patchy, I don't think that's a good idea. You invading that red buff for the 5th time this game and getting slapped down. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll do that differently. And you can listen to people. So by communicating, you're not just giving information, but you can also receive it because you're setting the team up to also communicate more. An almost anti-point to this, another thing is about keeping your comms clear. Now, it might sound opposite to what we just said there. Oh, look, we just stealed Orb Prime off of them. Huzzah. But keeping comms clear is not about, that's why we're talking about clearly and concisely communicating. You need to also keep your comms clear when you have nothing to communicate. So what happens a lot of times I see is when someone dies in a fight, they start whining, which is stupid because now the team who's still alive can't do anything. They can't communicate because you're sitting filling up the conversation with bullshit that doesn't matter. So keeping your comms clear allows the team to communicate and focus on plays that will actually help things move and prevent a snowball or give you those options. And then the 6th thing that I do in almost all my games is what I call toxic positivity. Making light of bad situations, enjoying the fact that things suck and that I'm garbage at the game and I'm just here to have a good time. Because when people are enjoying, if people's only goal in a game is to win, well, in Predecessor, you're going to lose 50% of your games. You're literally going to be miserable for 50% of the time you play Pred if you only care about winning. But if you can joke around and have a good time and you can make other people thinking about the fun that they might be having, well, now they have another reason to play the game. Now they have another reason to still be engaged in a losing game, is because they're enjoying the people they're playing with. They're not being bombarded by negativity. They're being encouraged. They're laughing a little bit. Guys, when I do a horrible gank, I call it out. I joke around about it, right? Like, that's what I do. And then somehow we start winning games that I should be losing, that we should have lost. So, guys, these 6 things, you might say, oh, these things don't matter. They don't matter. But we already know that pressing F2 will boost your MMR. We know, everyone knows a situation where negativity has made people actually lose. It wasn't the actual situation, it was the negative attitude that caused a play not to be had. That might only give you another 100 MMR. But if you do all 6 of those things, that's what could add up from a 650 bronze player like me playing at a gold 1250 level. And I think it'll work for almost anyone. So guys, my fellow people, reminder, guys, please call your mothers. Moldy bread, it's there. But guys, seriously, Predecessor is a game and it's won and lost based on teamwork, communication. It's a game of information, and that information can only be shared with the other players with your voice, with your communication. So please remember those 6 things and let me know how it goes. And until then, guys, have a rockin' good times, and I will see you at your red orb.